Welcome, everyone. This is Gwydion with RPG Frequencies. Today, I'm going to talk about an app that I came across just a few days ago. I was in the Black Oath Entertainment Forum, just chatting with some different folks, and one of the forum members posted a link. I don't know if he posted a link, but at least posted about a program that he used to organize his PDFs. And that was intriguing to me because I always struggle with trying to organize my PDFs. So I gave it a spin. And the program is called Compass, and it is created by one individual. And again, it's if you go to the homepage of the app, there's a little bit of a description of Compass and what it says. I'll just read it. You can probably read it yourself, but it says Codex Organize to make pen and paper adventuring super simple. So I like that. And you can use this to organize any kind of PDFs. It doesn't have to be specific to TTRPGs, but in my initial kind of poking around, it's been really cool and I've really enjoyed it. It is completely free. Before I get too far into the video, and this will be a bit of a review, but really just kind of poking around the app, showing you what I've done and the power of the app. But one thing is, right now it's only on Windows, so I know that is a no go for many of you who are on. There was an FAQ or a note I saw somewhere that some folks may have had some success on Linux, but I don't use Linux at all, so I can't attest to that. He does have GitHub, Reddit or subreddit, I'm sorry, and Discord. So you can jump in there and ask him questions. So I'll drop a link to this homepage. But with that, let's jump right into the program. So I've obviously already started and done a fair bit with respect to my library. So you can see I don't have all of my books in here, but you can see a lot of different books. So I'm just going to run through the screen a bit. And one thing that happened to me, and it's just a little bit of a watch out, is I use WebRoot for my antivirus. And I noticed that when I first started launching the program, it literally took 4.5 minutes to open. And it took me just a little bit of troubleshooting to realize I just needed to whitelist the program in WebRoot. And once I did that, it opens just an FYI. So I'll start a little bit from top to bottom and keep in mind that this will be blank. It'll be kind of a blank canvas when you open it. But at the top, you have just a standard search. So if I want to search, let's just say for a specific game I don't see on this homepage view, let's just say Brightborn. It's a solo game. I'll just type in Bright Return. And then it shows you what's recently opened in the first row, most open, and then recently added. Obviously, there's only one game here, so only one came up. And then you can see it's now included in the filters. So if I want to clear this, I can just go to the filter with the X for the filter. And now I'm back to my homepage view. Next to this, where it says RPG, this will list any of your collections. So if you want to separate your collections, you can create a new collection. So if you want, I don't know, a collection for your solo RPGs and maybe just for your TTRPGs, whatever, however you want to organize. And then you can also rename it. And then finally, there's a little bit of, I guess you can import, export. I haven't dived into that. There is a settings button here, and I'm still learning all the settings and reaching out to the creator on Discord. I know his first name, I believe, is Paul. And again, one guy has done all this, so he does put out updates, but just keep in mind it's one individual doing this, and I believe this is very much a hobby for him, not his full-time job, given this is a free program. So, all right. So you can see up on the top right, there are different views that you can look at. Let's start there. This is the home view, which is what I'm on. And you can see I've created some favorites. I'll show you how to do that. This first row is favorites. You can see some of my favorite authors like Black Oath Entertainment, Toby Lancaster, and then this was a new Kickstarter, Jason Duff. And then obviously Shadow the Demon Lord, Robert Schwab. But then you have recently opened, most opened, and then recently. So if I click on the kind of the layout or the hamburger line here, this just lists it in kind of just a detailed view. It also shows the tags, the ratings, and I think you can customize this. I'd have to look at this a little bit more if you want to include certain views, and I'll show that in a second. You have a card view. I like this view. So it shows, and again, you can customize some of this, but it shows the title. And this is just the title of your PDF. You can change that if you want it to read differently and cleaner, but this is how it's on my hard drive. The author, the publisher, and the rating, and then what tags I've already assigned to the book, as well as the cover. You'll also see a little icon here, and if you hover over it, it'll show you, is this local on my hard drive? The other thing is really cool is you'll see some of these have a little web version, or a web icon. So this is open online, so you can actually have links in here to, say, Google Drive and to a cloud backup program. So I recently switched over to pCloud from Dropbox because I was tired of paying like $100 a year. So I bought the pCloud lifetime version. It's actually on sale right now for excuse me, Black Friday for about $279, and that's lifetime for 2 terabytes. So anyway, but you can see I also have I created a tag. You don't really have to because you do have this link, but I created a tag and this says Google Drive. So that's that version. You also have I don't remember what he calls this. I don't know. It's just a tile version. This is kind of neat because it's really clean. It just shows the images of the cover art. So I like it. And then this is it'll be a right-hand rail when you click on one of these. And if you want to see the detail, you can see the detail here. So a little more of the info on the book. All right. So let me get out of that. Now that's mainly the top right version. Let's look at the top left. So this is your collection of tags. So if I click on tags, I'm still playing with this. I don't know. I'm struggling a bit, or not struggling, but just trying to see what the best way for me to organize my books are. So these are all tags, and there's some good infographics that the author, the creator, I should say, has put together that you can look at and find on the webpage and in his Discord forum. But I've created a few different groups of tags. So author, genre, play type, players, source, and systems. And again, you can do this however you want, but the groups of tags just help you organize. And what's important about the groups is if you pick something like, I don't know, if I pick Everspark or that's probably not a good idea, but if I pick like my local files and fantasy horror, it's gonna, when you filter by those two, it's gonna pick up, I think it's an either or. So like if I want to say, let's just look for solo. So at first it's just gonna show any solo games. Then if I decide I want to add like the genre, let's do fantasy. So yeah, let's see. Let me uncheck fantasy. How about horror? Yeah, I guess in that case, I think it's looking at only solo and horror, I think. So if I uncheck horror, here are all my horror games. So if I then select TTRPG, yeah, I think it's digging in and it's drilling down, and it has to have both of those, I believe. Anyway, I'll let you figure that out, but really cool system. Then I even created, like, for my 2D6, because Toby has so many different games in the 2D6 universe, I created a universe tag so I can kind of look at, if I just want to look at everything in the universe, you can see all the games that are related to 2D6. And whether it's Dungeon, Realm, or soon to be Legendary Dungeon, which I should receive on Monday, I think. But then if I just want to look at 2D6 realms, that's interesting. In that case, let's take off the universe. That's interesting. I don't know. I must have accidentally clicked on too many of these and put them as the realm because it should be drilling into it. I think that's my error. Anyway, all right, that's tag. Very, very high level. And the way you set your tag is I can click in, like, let's just say Dragonbane. If I right click, open the file, which I'll show later, I can open online. If there's an online version, I can edit it. I can set it as a favorite, show more info. I can renew, like if I want to update the cover and have it go out and look again, or I can move it to a different collection if I have different collections. You can remove it from the collection altogether. Keep in mind, and it says it right here in the pop-up, but I'm an idiot. I clicked on remove forever and then tried to re-add a game. but it's really important to know that it removes Compass and excludes it from future imports. You can correct that. So you can make sure that you can re-import, but just know that if in most cases, unless you really don't want to ever be able to import it again, do remove, not remove forever. So let's do edit here. Now this pulls up the Dragonbane detail. So this is general. So if I wanted to change this and say Dragonbane rules, I can do that. I have the authors typed in, so it'll try to grab the author, but yeah, it'll have all that detail, and then you can see the tags down here. So the cool thing is all of my tags are over here. So if I want to add tags, I can just click on the tag here and it'll show up. So right now I've got it as Fantasy TTRPG Dragonbane, and if I wanted to add a tag and say source, I think this is right on my hard drive, so I could say local file. Okay, and now that my local. All right, enough about tags. Let's then get into the layout. Now this is edit. So in here, you can change the look and feel here. I'm in the grid view, and you can show additional information. So if I go here, you can obviously change the sizing of the cards. So I can mess around with that if I'd like. You can show extra data. So in this case, it defaults to showing the title, but if you just wanted to say, hey, I want to show the ratings underneath this, then if you have already rated these titles, it'll show the rating. You want to show the author. I don't have all the authors layered in here. And publisher, so Black Oath Entertainment. So you get the idea. Whatever you want here, you can put. I like to have this version clean, so I don't have it. You can, let's see, have the card version. So the card version, the same. So you can see right now, I've got author, publisher, rating, and tags. But if I wanted to make this cleaner and I didn't want to show the tag, get rid of those. If I didn't want to show the rating and just wanted to show like the author and the publisher, I can do that. One thing I noticed is, I don't know if I can do it here, but I noticed that if I accidentally click on a rating and said, oh shoot, I didn't want to rate that. I haven't really prepared the rating yet. There's not a way that I can find out to reset the rating. And it's something I asked about. It's not a big deal, but just know that if you do click on it accidentally, it's going to rate it, and I don't think you can undo it. So I'm just going to leave that at 4-star for now. All right, the list, same thing. You can, just as I thought, you can change what information is shown here. So that's great. And then your home page, yeah, I think that's it. So then let's go into sorting. So you can change the way this is sorted. And the one thing I didn't show in tags, let me go back just for a second. When you create tags, it's just going to show up sequentially based on when you added the tag, but you can always right click and sort all tags, and then it'll sort them for you in order. So, all right, so let's get into adding books. How do you add books? Well, you can add physical books manually. You can also add based on ISBN number. I wasn't super familiar with this, but most books have a code that is on the back of your book. And you can add those, and it'll just pull in, obviously, if it's a physical book, it's not going to pull in the actual book, but it'll pull in all the information it can find. So if you click on this from ISBN, you can type in the number that's typically on the back of the book, but there's also a barcode. So if you want to click, I don't know if this is going to work right now because I'm using OBS to film, but it will load up your webcam, and it takes a minute or two. And if it fails, it's because I'm doing OBS and it probably can't access my camera. But I've noted that it does work, and then I can put the book up to my camera and I can scan it. Yeah, I don't think it's going to open because I'm using my camera right now, which makes sense. But that's a real cool way to at least get basic information in. And obviously add it manually. You can import a file locally. So let's do that for a second. I'm going to go to, 2D6 Dungeon. Go to my documents, and I'm going to go to Darkest House, and let's do, secrets. Let's do Crossing the Threshold. So if I double click on this, you don't see it because of the view I'm in, but if I go to, oh, there we go, recently added. You can see now if I double click on this or right click on it and edit, you can see it's pulled in what it found as the cover image. And you can browse and replace that with a different image if you want, but it shows what it was able to pull in. So you can obviously update the author, the title, description doesn't always pull in source, so it shows exactly where it's coming from on my hard drive. And advanced, like the date, last opened, I don't know, but the date added is certainly correct. And I think typically it'll show you, yeah, the number of pages, which is kind of cool. Then just click OK and you're done. So Google Drive and all these other places, like this is really cool because you can link directly to a file on Google Drive. So if you go to the actual file name and share it and drop the link here and import, it's going to open the same way. Same thing for your other websites. So I've done pCloud in here and I've just made sure I drop the sharing link and it opens just fine. And rather than import them, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So let me see if I can find, I'm going to do grid view. No, I'm going to do card view where it shows. So this one, Choir of Flesh, is a new game from Alex T, Black Oath Entertainment. You can see this is coming from Google Drive. So let's double click on this one. So you can see that this went straight to the link and opened the PDF for me, which is really cool. Obviously I could download it, but if I just want to read it here, I can read it, which is awesome. So you can organize even if it's on just a web link, or sorry, in the cloud, you can do that. So I know I have another, I feel like I've got another, I wonder if I can just type in pCloud. I'm trying to remember which one I used. Yeah, I've got a few of these that are on pCloud. So let us look at, let's do Shadow of the Demon Lord. So if I double click on this, again, this is opening my pCloud version. It's a big file, second, but it's again right into the Shadow of the Demon Lord, and I can read all my rules, or I can download it if I need to. So very, very cool stuff. All right, what else do I want to show? There's a lot you can do. Oh, and then you can obviously just do locally. Actually, we did locally already. So, but it's fun for me to just do all this organizing. And you can also in settings, there's a lot. You can report a bug. You can look for updates. You can look at what's new. And the cool thing for me, at least, is look, I mean, he's a solo guy, but he's done several updates in 2025, right? You can kind of scroll down and see he did one in February or two in February. He did an April update, a May update, June, and then just recently in October. So he's pretty active, at least in my opinion. You go into settings, and this is where I need to do more research because there's a lot of detail in here, but you can change the behavior of what opens, like what items open up, which version, like if you have a web version, local file. So if I do the up arrow, I can say, hey, try to do my local file first, and I'll leave it there. Performance, it looks like you can change maybe the default layout for the virtualized list, depending on how many items. Your import, I've not messed with these yet, but you can decide like to, I think, add different folders to constantly check and update if you'd like to do that. This is what I mentioned previously, and I wanted to share this, is I had accidentally I had clicked remove forever, one of my books from Toby, Haunted House. And you can see now this shows up in your banished files. So even if you said remove forever, it'll be here, and then I can just click on that and trash can and get done with that. All right, metadata. So this shows like you can do a lot of different edits to how it pulls in the title. What is it looking for first? Do you want to overwrite the data? So a lot of detail, and you can set this however you want. I have not touched it. Managing data. This is, I guess, broken reference files. It kind of explains. It'll remove those. You can manage your local data and where this comes, where the data is pulled in from. And there's my change log. And then here's the about. So you can see I'm on the 1.8.9 version. See the author Paul Desmul. Not sure I'm pronouncing that right. I bought him a coffee because I think this is an awesome program, and I wanted to at least donate something to him because I think this is a really cool, but it also gives you all the different dependencies and what he's used. So I think I'm going to stop it from there, but man, it is. Maybe I'll open one of these that's just a true PDF. So if I go to what I want to go to, I love Black Oath Entertainment games. So maybe I will. I'm going to go back to my tags for a second. I'm going to go to, if I can find, there we go, Black Oath Entertainment games. And his newest one, Choir of Flesh. So I'm going to open the local. So remember, this is the local version. This is the web. So if I double click on this, it opens and it opens in full screen view. But then I'm right into my PDF program and can cycle through the game in the PDF. So, all right, I think that's enough. Really cool program. I'd strongly encourage you check it out if you're looking for a way to organize your PDFs. And drop me a comment or a link if you or a comment or a like, and let me know what you think. But I am going to keep poking around in the program and maybe post some updates as I get further into it. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you next time.